Let's look at the vision that the angel gave Daniel. Daniel chapter 11, verse 32. He talks about the abomination of desolation, and the very first thing that the angel says, but know this, when that abomination of desolation takes place, know this, the people who know their God, they shall be strong. They shall carry out great exploits. And the people of understanding shall teach many. Now, the verse before, the angel introduced the abomination of desolation. Again, you can read it in your Bibles and the larger notes I have on the website. If you want to get a lot more detail on this, I'm giving you just a real brief read at this. After the angel commented on the abomination of desolation in verse 31 of Daniel 11, the very next thing he says, but know this, and this is what Jesus wanted us to read. Know this, when that abomination happens, when human sinfulness reaches its height, demonic power reaches a level never seen before in combination with human sin, know this, the people that know God, they won't retreat in a corner in fear. They won't draw back in confusion. They will be strong. They will be strong in their spirit. Now, all of us, in our natural personalities and our natural abilities, we're all weak.
Well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to us that there is 5% who are the poor righteous teachers, who don't believe the teaching of lies of the 10%, but this 5% are all wise and know who the true and living God is, and they teach that the true and living God is the Son of Man, the supreme being, the black man of Asia. They're also known as civilized people, Muslims and Muslim sons.
5, 10, and 5, and I'm fascinated by the breakdown. I always have been with regards to who everybody is, and true, the way you broke it down when you're talking about how you looked at something as simple or complex depending on your perspective of as far as the election cycle, which I'm gonna come back to that, so don't get too deep into that part, because I'm definitely gonna come back to that. But when we're talking about the 10, let's talk about 10% for a second.
Or the upper 1%, as they want to say, the upper 1%, which is what? Knowledge out of cipher? Isn't that back to 1 again? So we still got the 10 in there. But anyway, go ahead. That's mathematics.
Yeah, I have no idea what you just said. You just lost me that quick. Oh, my goodness. All right, we got a... Ain't no half step on Marcus J. Live from the Den Legacy Internet Radio. Caller, you on the live line. What's your name? What you want to get in on?
Yes, I want him to explain what is a Muslim son. What does he mean when he say a Muslim son?
Okay.
A Muslim son is a Caucasian man that goes under the study from 35 to 50 years to try and learn and do like the original man. That's a Muslim son, a Caucasian man going under the study of becoming a Muslim. Like you have white Muslims.
Yeah, he asked the question and then he can speak for you, but that's how I look at things, and I wouldn't consider myself as part of this way of life.
Well, anyone could be a 5%er. That's the other thing. Do you do right? Do you teach your children the truth? Those are acts of a 5%er. Are you righteous? When you were in the grocery store behind the old lady online when she dropped that $100 bill, did you put your foot on it, or did you tap her on the shoulder and say, ma'am, you dropped your $100 bill? You know what I'm saying? Anyone could be a 5%er. 5%er means to be civilized. Civilized means to have what? Knowledge and wisdom, or teach knowledge and wisdom to all the human families of the planet Earth. To have civilization, it means you have knowledge, wisdom, understanding, culture, and refinement, and you're not a savage in pursuit of happiness. So anyone could be a 5%er.
They're also known as civilized people, Muslims and Muslim sons. Here is a small percentage of people who know God. And when they know God, they have a duty. And that duty is to teach what you know to those who do not know. Then those of us who are in pursuit of that duty have 10%, the rich, the bloodsuckers of the poor, the slave makers of the poor. They hate the 5%. They have control over 85%. So they turn the 85% against the righteous teacher. This is how they've been able to kill the prophets, kill their communities, because the leaders who are the bloodsuckers of the poor have control over the minds of the masses, and they feed the masses more lies about a righteous teacher, so that the righteous teacher will be persecuted by the 10%, not helped by the 85%, so that they can kill the righteous teacher. But a new thing is happening today. A new thing is happening today. It's too hot for them to come out and sit with me. So the leaders were listening from their comfortable positions. What did Farrakhan say tonight? What are you afraid of? You're afraid that the masses are rising today. The masses, white, brown, red, yellow, and black, are to be told the truth. And when the masses are told the truth, they will be free from the web of lies of the 10% who have made slaves of the poor and who are the bloodsuckers of the poor. And
but you know, you make your decisions in life, and I decided when I was very young, I'm in my mid-20s, that I was going to say what I believed and see what happened. I talked to you earlier in the talk about adventure, you know, about the adventure of truth, and I don't think I'm happy about what has happened, and I certainly have dragged my family through their fair share of, well, both hell and also incomprehensible opportunity. It's expanded our lives in both directions to a tremendous degree, but it's certainly been an adventure. It's not been dull, and I don't believe that it was a mistake. Whatever happens as a consequence of telling the truth is the best thing that can happen. It doesn't really matter how it looks to you at the moment, or maybe even across the years, because you have to. It's an article of faith in some sense. Do you believe that reality is better constituted as a consequence of truth or falsity? If you believe that reality is best constituted as a consequence of truth, then you have a responsibility to speak the truth, and you can't assess the consequences and say, well, that was a mistake, because part of the decision that reality is best constituted as a consequence of the truth is the decision that no matter what happens is the best if it's a consequence of telling the truth. And so that's what I conclude. It's like, this is what happened because I said what I had to say as clearly as I could say it. And that's as good as it could be. Now, whether or not that's good, well, it's good compared to all possible alternatives, all possible realistic alternatives. That's an article of faith as far as I'm concerned. You know, our culture is predicated on the idea that truth in speech is of divine significance. It's the fundamental presupposition of our culture. Well, if you believe that, then you act it out. And you take the consequences. You're going to take the consequences one way or another, you know. So, you want the truth on your side? Or do you want to hide behind falsehoods?